You don't exist. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowed like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look me better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the fourth part of What If Naruto Enters My Little Pony? Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of Hussbek on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Near the outskirts of Ponyville is a wild wooded area called the Everfree Forest. Many ponies say that it is a mysterious place which serves as a home to many varieties of plants and animals. It is also known to possess a quality which allows them to thrive on their own without the invention of ponies, something that they consider unnatural. Many of those who entered the forest never came back out, with only a few able to return to tell the others their stories of things which they have never seen or heard before. At the moment, if one has a good sense of hearing, then would have heard the sound of thumping coming from the forest as if there is a fight going on. The scene changes to within the midst of the forest where a pack of animals resembling wolves but made entirely of wood known to many as timber wolves surrounded an orange unicorn wearing a black and orange hoodie jacket and a black headband with a leaf design on it. Normally a pony would have been quivering in fear, but not this pony known as Naruto Uzumaki, the pony ninja and the element bearer of purity, as he stared at the timber wolves surrounding him with a smirk on his face. So you guys think you got the jump on me? Naruto took the fighting stance and the wolves tensed, neither side moved until a leaf fell from a branch and floated to the ground. When it touched the ground they charged at each other, then think again. Naruto ducked under a swipe and responded with an uppercut, launching the wolf into the air. Chakra Terra Hoipu, he channeled chakra to his tail which glowed before whipping it at the airborne wolf and pulled it towards him. Take this, Rasengan. Naruto rammed the sphere into the wolf and kept on going until slamming into a tree, shattering it into pieces. Naruto backflipped just as two more came from behind with their claws stretched out, then he pointed his 4 hooves at them. Chikura no Dangon, Sakusha, 2 runes appeared and unleashed white projectiles at a rapid rate, destroying the wolves. Kozai no Ha, battle stance. Naruto summoned the glaive to his back as he turned to face the remaining timber wolves. Here I come, windflaw dash. Naruto charged at them while surrounded by the wind, knocking some of them into the air. Kozai no Jichenji, Chakaramu, his glaive transformed into a chakram, Shikura then he formed a chakra tendril and threw it at them. The chakram zipped through the wolves repeatedly and his horn crackled with lightning. Now for a combo, bolt chain, a stream of lightning shot out and struck one of the wolves before arcing off to the rest before falling to the floor charred and in pieces. The chakram returned to his back and reverted to the glaive. A wolf attacked from above in hopes of surprising the blonde stallion, but Naruto was aware as he used a chakra tendril to wrap around a tree and pulled himself over to evade. He landed on the tree trunk and then bounced off it right back at the wolf Gyuribu Makyarijinai, and ran it through with his glaive which was radiating with chakra. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto summoned 5 of his clones who stood next to him and faced the wolves. One of the clones rushed forward and punched a timberwolf. The original Naruto stepped on the clone's back, launched himself into the air. Nah, are you? 2. The remaining 3 clones all performed a double kick simultaneously, sending the wolf into the air towards the original. Naruto stomped on it, sending it crashing to the ground, creating a crater. Naruto turned around quickly, with chakra flowing through his 4 hooves to form claws, and raised one of them to block an incoming strike from the last of the timber wolves. Time for me to wrap this up. Naruto unleashed an onslaught of slashes on the wolf with his chakra claws at a speed that is comparable to when Neji used the trigram 64 palms on him. Then he jumped and channeled chakra to his horn, Chikura Hansurishu, taking the shape of a longer horn. Naruto sped forward and went past the wolf, then stopped behind it with his horn lowered. The Timberwolf stood still for a few moments before finally collapsing to the ground and laid unmoving. Naruto exhaled as the chakra receded into his body and stretched a bit before looking back and smirking at the fallen wolves. "Nothing like a good workout for a ninja like me," said Naruto while grinning. He had been venturing into the forest to train by fighting against the creatures. Doing this sharpens his skills as well as prep for any challenges or opponents in the future. But they weren't kidding about this place. A normal pony wouldn't be able to survive this place. Luckily, I'm not a normal pony. Naruto took a look at himself and saw that he was covered in tree sap from the wolves and grimaced a bit. "I'd better get back home and wash up, I don't want smell like a tree." Then he leapt from tree to tree in the direction of Ponyville, completely unaware that someone was watching from behind the tree while wearing a black cloak. "This is a first time for me to see someone wandering in the Everfree," said the pony before walking away. Naruto was leaping from tree to tree, when something bright glinted from the corner of his eye. He stopped and backtracked and saw something sticking out of the ground. "Well, what do we have here?" Naruto dug around the strange item a bit before pulling it out of the ground. He was holding a stone tablet with a shiny ruby embedded in it. It also has a picture of an earth pony holding a scepter in her mouth and is surrounded by flames. "What is something like this doing here in the Everfree forest? I think I'll take to Twilight, maybe she has a book or two which can tell us about it." Naruto was about to take off before looking at himself again. "After I take a bath." After heading home and taking a bath like he intended, Naruto headed to Twilight's place and knocked on the door, only for Spike to open it. "Hi Naruto, how's it going?" said Spike. "Yo Spike, nothing but the usual. I'm just checking to see if Twilight is around," said Naruto. "She's at the library reading." "Thanks buddy." Naruto walked and soon found Twilight reading a book like always. "Hi Twilight," said Naruto happily. "Oh hello Naruto, what brings you around here?" said Twilight, smiling upon seeing him. "Actually, I found something interesting during my walk and I thought that I could bring it over and see if any of your books could have information about it," said Naruto. "Okay Naruto, but let's see it first," said Twilight. Naruto then approached the table. "Sure Twilight, release stone tablet." A white orb came out of the medallion and floated to the table before transforming into the tablet and laid itself on the table. Twilight looked at the tablet with a critical eye. An earth pony holding a scepter, I think I know which book to learn about it." She then called out to Spike. "Spike, could you bring the Equestrian Chronicles?" "Got it, Twilight." Spike climbed up a ladder and took out a large LTHR-covered book before bringing it over and placing it on the table. Twilight proceeded to flip through the pages until she finally stopped on a page which had an illustration bearing similarities to the image on the stone tablet. "Here it is, according to the chronicles, we looking at none other than Pyro Flare, otherwise known as the Mare of Flames." "The Mare of Flames? Why do they call her that?" asked Naruto with curiosity. "It says that with the use of a scepter called the Infernal Flower, she can conjure up flames and manipulate any source of fire to do her bidding." "Wow, that sounds so cool. It's almost like she's a dragon," said Spike, who had stayed behind to listen. "According to history, she appeared in the battlefield to assist Equestria against the Griffins of Griffinstone during the Great War. Many soldiers spoke of how Pyro Flare used her infernal flower to go up against a legion of griffins and emerge victorious." "I've read about the Great War, and I've also read that Equestria and Griffinstone are under a ceasefire treaty." "You're right about that Naruto. Even before I came to Ponyville for the first time, Princess Celestia has been attending meetings in order to gain an alliance with the Griffins." "Anyway, back to the story, what happened to Pyro Flare?" asked Spike. "Well, when the Great War ended, she left to where Nopone knows, but before leaving, she gave us a mysterious riddle," said Twilight reading from the book. "What is the riddle?" asked Naruto. "These are the words of the Mare of Flames: I shall lay to rest at where the flames will never die out." It seems like she was telling us where she would be buried but at the same time not revealing its actual location, said Twilight. "That's a weird riddle, where the flames will never die out. I mean, a flame on a candle will go out when all of the wax melts. The same goes for forest fires when they're put out. kitchen stoves or even dragons when they breathe fire, said Spike. Spike, what you're thinking about are flames made artificially. Pyro flare meant natural flames but which dash, Twilight was then interrupted by Naruto's sudden outburst. I've got it, the answer to the riddle, said Naruto with a look of realization. What do you mean? Asked Spike, who was a bit confused. What is the answer? The answer is in the riddle, Spike. The only place where flames will never go out is a volcano. Twilight's eyes widened in realization upon what he said. You're right, Naruto, no amount of water can even put them out, especially when it's an active volcano. But the question is, which volcano? Asked Spike. Twilight used her magic to bring out a scroll from the bookshelf and unrolled it on the table to reveal a map of Equestria. According to the map, there is a volcano around here. She pointed at a mountain on the map. It has been active for a very long time. That must be where the tomb of Pyro Flare is. Then that's where I'm going, said Naruto with a look of excitement. Are you sure about this, Naruto? It could be dangerous, said Twilight worriedly. Of course, the infernal flower must have been kept there and I'm going to get it. It kinda scares me if other ponies were to figure out the riddle and try to find it, especially those who have ill intentions. Twilight slowly nodding at the logic and shivered at the thought of any pony using the scepter for their own gain. Besides, I can't sit out an adventure like this. Twilight giggled at his excitement. You almost sound like Daring Do. Daring Do, who's that? Asked Naruto with a raised eyebrow. I'm sure you would like her. She's an adventurer and treasure hunter who explores ancient temples and ruins in search of rare artifacts. An author by the name A.K. Yearling writes about her adventures, and I've even got all the books in the series. Whoa, I think I'll read some of those books when I get back. Naruto turned to leave before looking back. Wish me luck. Go get him, Naruto, said Spike. Good luck, Naruto, and come back safely, said Twilight. The blonde stallion nodded in affirmation and headed for his home to gear up. Later on, Naruto stood at the outskirts of Ponyville in a different attire. He now wears an all-black jacket with the hood up and a face mask on to hide his identity. He also sealed a few crystals, supplies, and a map into his medallion and strapped a ninja pouch to his side, then told Trixie that he is going on a trip for a while. I'm all set, so let's get this adventure started. Naruto crouched down a bit, channeling chakra to his feet before taking off down the road, leaving behind a small crater and a cloud of dust. After a couple hours of running along the roads and sometimes leaping through the trees, we find Naruto perched at the top of a pine tree overlooking the forest while drinking from a canteen and looking at the map levitating in front of him with magic. According to the map the mountain should be right over there. Naruto looked up from the map and looked to see a large mountain with smoke coming out of the top. Sealing the map and canteen back into the medallion, Naruto leapt off the tree and headed towards the mountain. Darn, can't seem to find any hidden entrance. I've been around the mountain twice and still nothing. Naruto stood there deep in thought until he had an idea. He started tapping the wall. He kept moving along the wall until the sound changed into a hollow one. I found it. Naruto created a chakra arm which formed a rasengan, then he rammed it into the wall which exploded in a cloud of dust. It cleared to reveal a tunnel leading inside. He was about to enter, when he heard a whipping sound before quickly jumping out of the way of the attack. Then he turned to see who had attacked. She is a Pegasus with a body color of dark khaki with a mane and tail of 6 shades of gray. She wears a dark olivine vest and a pith helmet with a dark olive band. Her cutie mark is a compass. Who are you? Asked Naruto. I should be the one asking you that question, said the mayor. Well, I asked you first. Fine, my name is Daring Do, said the mayor. Naruto's eyes widened in surprise. Daring Do? As in the famous adventurer and treasure hunter? That's right. Now will you tell me your name and what you're doing here? Asked Daring Do seriously. Whoa, what's with the attitude? Thought Naruto. My name is Hokage. Hokage? That's a strange name, said Daring Do with a raised eyebrow. It means fire shadow from I came from, said Naruto. I came here to find the infernal flower of Pyro Flare. Daring Do's eyes narrowed upon hearing what he said. And what do you intend to do with it? I plan to keep it at a safe place so as to prevent any pony with evil intentions from getting their hooves on it. Even with that reason, I can't trust you and I won't let you take it, said Daring Do. What is that supposed to mean? What are your reasons for suspecting me? Asked Naruto angrily. First, you hide your identity behind a disguise which makes you look suspicious. Second, I've just met you, but it doesn't mean that I should trust you just like that. You may be right, but I have my reasons as well. First, I hide my identity so that the ponies whom I care about will not be in danger. Second, I could tell that you're a pony with good intentions and I could trust you, which was why I told you my reasons, said Naruto. Daring Do looked at him a few moments before walking towards the tunnel without looking back at the stallion. I don't care about your reasons, just don't get in my way. Then she entered the tunnel. What's with her? It's like I'm dealing with the pony version of Gaara, except she isn't a killing psycho. I'd better go after her, Naruto grumbled before entering the tunnel as well. He kept moving along the tunnel until coming across Daring Do standing before a straight passage. Why are you standing around here? Asked Naruto. The mare turned around with an annoyed look on her face. What are you doing here? Well, you told me not to get in your way, but you didn't tell me to leave, so there, said Naruto with a smirk. Ugh, fine, but like I said, don't get in my way. Daring Do turned to face the passage. I suspect that there's a booby trap set up here. You may be right, a straight passage like this would not raise suspicions if you're an average pony. Naruto picked up a rock with his tail and tossed it ahead. It hit a hidden panel and flaming arrows shot out from the wall before sticking on the other side, confirming their suspicions. This is nothing for me. Daring Do flapped her wings and quickly flew to the other side and then turned to see how the stallion would get across. So how are you getting past the trap? I just don't have to touch the floor. Naruto took few steps back and channeled chakra to his feet before running along the wall and jumping to the other, repeating the motion until reaching the other side, much to the mare's surprise. Like that. At least, I won't have to worry about you taking care of yourself. Daring merely snorted and walked up with Naruto close behind while looking a little annoyed. Upon exiting the passage, the duo came upon a large stone platform which is held up by 4 large chains. They also saw a stone golem sitting in the middle. Naruto looked down to see lava below them. There's something over here, said Naruto, pointing at an inscription on the wall. Daring Do took a closer look and slowly read it out loud. In order to proceed, one must emerge victorious against the guardian of the earth, said Daring Do. I'm guessing it means that we have to break that hunk of rock in order to continue. No problem. Naruto walked out to the platform before Daring Do could stop him and stood in front of the stationary golem. Hey Rocky, wake up. You have a date at the quarry, so let's get moving. Then the eyes and runes on its body glowed red and it slowly stood up and approached the pony ninja with the intent to attack. Hokage, are you insane? It's far too dangerous to go up against a golem, shouted Daring Do. Don't worry, I've handled stronger opponents than this walking boulder, said Naruto. Then he charged at the golem. It launched a punch at the stallion, but Naruto flipped backwards and quickly ran up the arm all the way to the head and delivered a chakra-powered punch, shattering it into pieces. Naruto smirked, thinking that it was over, but it dropped when he saw the head reform. The golem stomped on the platform, causing the chains to loosen and drop it to just a few feet above the lava. I guess you don't me running around too much, said Naruto, keeping an eye on the golem. Hokage, are you okay? Daring Do called from above. Yeah, I'm fine, things just got a little harder. Naruto ducked under a swing from the rock giant and ran between its legs and turned around with his horn glowing, icicle shot. Then fired ice projectiles at the feet, holding it in place. Naruto jumped into the air and dived at the golem with a spinning orb in his hoof. Take this, rasengan. Naruto grinded through the stomach and landed on the other side and turned around only to see the torso regenerate itself as if the attack never happened in the first place. Darn it, no matter how much I damage it, it just keeps on recovering from my attacks, thought Naruto. The golem then fired its stone fists at Naruto, forcing him to dodge left and right before returning to its body. Naruto was contemplating on a plan to take the golem once and for all when he heard Daring Do call out from above. Hokage. Drive the golem off the platform and into the lava. it won't be able to reform that way. Thanks for the tip. Naruto turned to face the golem again. It launched its fists at him again, but Naruto dodged them again but this time took aim at them. Icicle shot, fired ice projectiles, freezing them in place. Then he shattered them with a few chakra-powered punches and kicks. Windflaw dash, he charged at the rock giant and rammed into it, sending it stumbling to the edge of the platform. While the golem was trying to regain its balance and not fall off, Naruto simply walked over and gave a small tap with his forehoof, sending it falling into the lava and sank into its depths. With the absence of the golem's weight on the platform, the chains slowly lifted it back to its original position and Daring Do went to meet up with Naruto. "Are you okay?" asked Daring Do. "I'm fine, but I thought you said that you won't need to worry about me," said Naruto. "I was just making sure that I don't have to watch over you," said Daring Do, walking past him and to the next area with Naruto looking at her with a calculative look before following after her. They entered the next room to see lava flowing in front of them with the entrance to the next room at the other side with no way to cross. Daring Do was about to fly again but Naruto stopped her. "Why are you stopping me?" Naruto pointed upwards. She looked to see stalagmites that look ready to fall at any given time. "By the look of things, this trap was set up to stop Pegasus from passing here, so we need another way to cross," said Naruto. "Then how do we get across? It's not like we can just make a bridge to cross." Naruto's eyes widened at hearing what she said and smiled. "Or maybe we can." Daring Do looked at him in surprise. Naruto stared at the ceiling as he used his tail to go through his pouch and pulled out a khaki-colored crystal. "What is that and what are you planning to do with it?" "This is an impulse crystal. It releases a non-lethal burst of magic stored within it, and I intend to knock down some of the stalagmites which we can use as stepping stones to get across." Naruto threw the crystal the ceiling and there was blast of magic which dislodged some stalagmites to fall into the lava with some parts sticking out. Naruto threw more of the impulse crystals until there were enough sticking out of the lava. "Let's get across quickly while we have time." Naruto jumped on each of them until he finally got across with Daring Do close behind and they turned to see the stones melt into the lava. They continued along the tunnel until Naruto decided to break the silence. "Why is it that you work alone and refuse to accept help? You don't seem like the kind of pony to do that according to what I've heard from a friend of mine," asked Naruto. "It's because I prefer to work alone, it has always been that way in my adventures and it always will," said Daring Do. "Even working with you is a risk I didn't want to take." Naruto stared at her for a while before speaking. "From the way I see it, you're afraid that if you become friends with others, they would get hurt during one of your adventures. That may be why you refuse to work with others." Daring Do stopped walking in surprise as Naruto continued on as she thought on his words. "Could that be the reason why I don't like working with others? Because I don't want to see any pony get hurt?" Shaking her head to clear her thoughts, Daring Do quickly caught up with the stallion. They soon came out of the passage and followed a ledge which spiraled downwards to the bottom. Then they stood before a large platform where a statue of dragon sits at the center. Curled around the tail is a crystal and inside it is a pony with a body color of red with a mane and tail of crimson. She also had a cutie mark of a flame. "That must be the body of Pyro Flare, the mare of flames," said Naruto. "The crystal must have been preserving her body, but where's the scepter?" "Daring Do, look up there." She looked at where Naruto was pointing and saw in the jaws of the dragon a small golden staff with a red gem in the shape of a rose and it was glowing. "Okay then, I'll go and get it," said Daring Do, flying up towards the scepter. "Be careful of any traps," said Naruto. Daring Do flew around the statue several times to find any signs of a booby trap and found none, then she proceeded to slowly pull the scepter out. Naruto was looking at the scepter and was curious about why it was glowing. "I wonder why the infernal flower has been glowing all this time as no pony has been holding it. According to history, it has the ability to control any type of flames and yet Naruto's eyes widened in realization and tried to warn the mare. "Daring Do, don't pull it out. The scepter itself is a trap." But it was too late as she had already taken the scepter out and the glow faded away. The mountain started to rumble and shake as the duo looked around. What's going on? Asked Daring Do. It has been said that the scepter is capable of producing and manipulating any type of fire, so the scepter must have been the reason why the volcano was active for a long time and why it had never erupted, said Naruto. And since I've taken the scepter, the volcano is about to erupt, we need to get out of here. The duo quickly ran back up the spiraling ledge, all the while dodging the falling rock along the way. Daring Do took to the air while Naruto pumped chakra into his hooves to keep up with her. There was a rumble and they turned to see the lava rising before entering the passage. We have to hurry, there's not much time left, said Daring Do, flying faster. I guess that comes from personal experience, said Naruto, running next to her, to which she nodded in affirmation. Several boulders fell in their path, blocking their way. But Daring Do was able to fly through the gaps with Naruto using his free-running skills to maneuver through them as well, but when the larger rocks were to block their way, Naruto would throw a few impulse crystals to destroy them in order to pass on through. As they were running, a plume of lava suddenly shot out from the ground right in front of them. Daring Do quickly performed a barrel roll to get out of the way and Naruto ran along the wall while using chakra to stick to it, and they kept on going. Whoa, that was close. Something tells me that we really need to step up before this place blows up, said Naruto. And something tells me you're right, said Daring Do. Without warning, a rock fell from above and struck one of Daring Do's wing, causing her to fall to the ground, and Naruto quickly doubled back to check on her. Are you okay? Asked Naruto. My wing is sprained, I don't think I can fly with it, said Daring Do. Then get on my back, said Naruto. She looked at him in confusion. Well, you won't be able to keep up with me and we're short on time. Daring Do nodded at the logic and climbed to his back. Naruto wrapped his tail around her so as to make sure that she stays on. Just hold on to the scepter and I'll do the rest. Naruto pumped chakra into his hooves and ran even faster than he did before. They kept on going until they were almost at where the flowing lava and stalagmites are. Hokage, how are we going to get across? We won't have time to make stepping stones with the stalagmites, said Daring Do from his back. I thought of that, which is why I'm going to use my abilities, said Naruto, much to Daring Do's confusion. When they got there, Naruto jumped off the edge to her shock. Has he lost his mind? We can't jump all the way to the other side. Naruto shot out a chakra tendril to latch onto a stalagmite and swung, then he released before shooting out another one to swing again and kept it up until they reached the other side, then he continued to run. I guess that's one of your abilities, asked Daring Do and received a nod in return. Yes, and only I can do it, few ponies know about as it's a secret, said Naruto as he kept running. Another boulder fell in front, but Daring Do quickly grabbed an impulse crystal from Naruto's pouch and threw it at the boulder to destroy it and clear away. I must admit that these crystals are pretty useful, said Daring Do. Well, I got them from a friend of mine who lives at Ponyville. He owns a shop called the Whirlpool which sells different types of crystals, Naruto replied. There was a larger rumble from behind them. They turned to see lava rushing towards them. Hokage, hurry, it's coming, shouted Daring Do. I got it. Wind flaw dash. Naruto ran faster with the wind flowing around. This helped them pull away and knock away any falling debris, and soon they were to escape from the mountain. Later, they were standing on a hill and were watching the volcano erupt as Celestia's sun was setting and Luna's moon slowly rose. I guess it's another day in the life for you, Daring Do, asked Naruto. You're right about that, Hokage, but this has to be one of the most exciting for me, said Daring Do. So what happens now? Will you take the infernal flower with you? Daring Do looked at the scepter a few moments before holding it out to Naruto, much to his confusion. I think I'll give it to you. But why are you giving it to me? Asked Naruto. From what I've seen, I can tell that you can keep it safe from others. Besides, it's first come, first served since I met you at the mountain, said Daring Do. Naruto looked at her for a moment before taking the scepter. Okay, but if it's any consolation, release stone tablet. An orb floated out of the and transformed into the tablet. Then he removed the barrier bracelet from his hoof. You can take these so that you won't return empty-handed. Thanks, and maybe we'll meet again, said Daring Do with a smile. I hope so too, said Naruto with an eye smile, since he's wearing a mask. They parted ways and returned to their homes. When Naruto returned to Ponyville, he took off his disguise and wore his normal clothes. Then he called Twilight and Spike over to his place and told them of his adventures. Twilight was quite excited to hear that he actually partnered up with her favorite heroine to find the infernal flower. "I can't wait to see how the next book will turn out," said Twilight excitedly. Naruto then sealed the scepter into a scroll which can only be opened with his BLD and hid it away in his workshop. Twilight and Spike promised to never reveal its existence until the situation called for it to be used. Somewhere in another part of Equestria, a pony sits at a table, looking at a manuscript with a satisfied look on her face. "This has to be one of my best works yet," said the mare as she placed the manuscript on the table and left the room. We look to see the title written Daring Do and the scepter of the Mare of Flames with a mysterious shadow. It was another normal day in Ponyville as Naruto along with Twilight and Pinkie Pie were at the park. Naruto was reading one of Daring Do's books with interest, Twilight was reading a book as well although he didn't bother to ask what she was reading about, and Pinkie was being quite descriptive with how Rainbow Dash performs her tricks. And then Rainbow Dash was like swish, zoom, swoosh and flew very high into the air. "Aha," said Twilight while she continued reading without looking up from her book. And then she looped around and was like hoo. Pinkie twirled around a bit before falling to the ground from dizziness, then she got bounced over to Naruto. "Don't you think so, Naru?" Naruto looked up from his book with a smile. "Of course Pink's Dash is an amazing flyer and we all know it. Speaking of who, isn't that Dash flying over us?" Pinkie Pie looked up to see that it was really Rainbow Dash flying over them and bounced off after her much to Twilight's relief. "Finally," said Twilight. "Come Twilight, you know that's just Pink's being amazed by Dash's flying skills and wants us to know about it," said Naruto turning a page on his book and continued to read. "I know Naruto, but I really wanted to learn more about the history of your world." Twilight then closed the book and sealed it away in her medallion. "Where are you going?" "There are some books that I want to pick up at the bookstore." "Oh, then I'm coming too." Naruto placed a bookmark on the page before sealing it away in his medallion as well, then they walked into town when Pinkie Pie showed up again. "Hey Naru, can you help me find Rainbow Dash?" "I've been looking all over for her," said Pinkie Pie. "Isn't that not her right up there?" Naruto pointed a hoof upwards for them to see a rainbow-colored tail sticking out of it. "Rainbow Dash," shouted Pinkie Pie, but then Rainbow Dash took off at high speed with Pinkie Pie bouncing after her. "Dash had better give up and listen to whatever Pinks has to say, as she'll always find her no matter where she hides," said Naruto with a look of amusement. "What makes you say that?" asked Twilight. "It's because Pinkie Pie always seems to find me no matter where I try to hide, so in way it turned into a game of who finds who with her finding me more often." Twilight simply shrugged as she never tried to figure Pinkie Pie out. Later on, Naruto was at the mansion writing some sealing formulas on a scroll when he noticed that he was out of scrolls. "I'd better head to the shop and restock on more scrolls." Naruto left the house and was almost at the scroll shop when he saw Rainbow Dash moving a cloud above the entrance and Pinkie Pie was hiding by the side of the building. "What are those two up to?" Then he saw Spike come out of the shop carrying a heap of scrolls in his arms while humming to himself. Pinkie gave a signal to Rainbow Dash who then kicked the cloud and a loud crash of thunder came out of it. The sudden sound startled Spike and led to him getting the hiccups. "I get it now, they wanted to play a prank on Spike," Naruto laughed as he approached them. "Oh Rainbow Dash, we startled Spike into getting the hiccups," said Pinkie Pie with Rainbow Dash chuckling. "So you guys were planning to prank Spike, you should have invited me as you know how much I love playing pranks," said Naruto with a mischievous grin. "You're right Naru, I can't believe I forgot about that." "Good one Pinkie Hiccup Pie." "Hiccup you're always pulling a fast one hiccup on me." Spike tried to pick a scroll, but he hiccuped a green flame and it disappeared. "You're not hurt are you?" asked Pinkie Pie worriedly. "Don't worry about it Pinks, dragons are fireproof." "Right Spike," said Naruto. That's Hiccup right. Spike picked more of the scrolls but he hiccuped again, sending the scrolls to Canterlot, although I wish the same thing hiccup were true with scrolls. Meanwhile in Canterlot, Princess Celestia was reading the first scroll that was sent to her and was surprised when a ton of scrolls appeared and fell on her. Back at Ponyville, Naruto and the others were laughing at Spike who kept trying to pick up the remaining scrolls but he kept hiccuping flames and sending them to Canterlot. Have you ever seen anything more hilarious? Asked Pinkie Pie while laughing. I can think of one thing. Rainbowdash kicked the cloud again, startling Pinkie Pie to also get the hiccups but they all laughed. You know Pinkie Pie, you're not as annoying as I thought. So you wanna hang out? Asterisk hiccup asterisk that'd be hiccup I'd really asterisk hiccup asterisk when do hiccup I mean hiccup when would you hiccup? Pinkie Pie's hiccups kept throwing her all over the place much to Naruto's amusement until Rainbowdash stopped her with a hoof. A simple nod will do, to which Pinkie Pie complied. You guys can count me in, there's no way I'm missing out on this, said Naruto excitedly. He hadn't done a good prank in a long time and was just itching to do so. Then welcome to the club, said Rainbowdash. Later on, the trio were seen carrying baskets full of items for their pranks. They were hiding behind some bushes in front of the carousel boutique. Naruto sent one of his clones to drop a bouquet of flowers at the doorstep and rang the doorbell before disappearing in a puff of smoke. Is she even home? Whispered Rainbowdash, to which Naruto nodded in affirmation. Yeah, since I can sense her aura, he replied. This is gonna be gold, Pinkie Pie snickered. Rarity opened the door to see the flowers on her doorstep. Now who would be so nice to leave these appealing flowers for me? She bent down to sniff them but a pink powder covered her snout and started to sneeze a lot. Gesundheit. Rarity turned to see Naruto and others standing nearby laughing with Rainbowdash holding a can of sneezing powder. They ran off with Dash dropping the can in front of Pinkie Pie making her fly backwards from her sneeze with Rarity looking at them with a smile. In the library, Twilight was experimenting with some chemicals. When she was focusing in the chemicals, a yellow tail holding a blue bottle appeared and poured a clear liquid into the ink pot before quickly disappearing. Twilight turned and used the quill to write some data on the scroll before returning to her work. But when she turned to check, everything that she wrote was gone and her experiment exploded. You can't read what you can't see. Twilight traced the voice to the window and saw Naruto, Rainbowdash and Pinkie Pie laughing with Naruto holding what seems to be a bottle of invisible ink with his tail. Twilight simply smiled at the harmless prank. Applejack was bringing a cart out of the barn when froze stunned at what she saw. All of the apples in the orchard had been painted in various colors and patterns. Land sakes! She then heard snickering and turned to see Naruto, Pinkie Pie and Rainbowdash wearing black berets, each holding a palette of paint and a paintbrush. It's quite artistic, wouldn't you agree, AJ? Naruto didn't get his answer as he and the others had to hightail it out of there with Applejack throwing apples at them. When one of the apples fell into a barrel of water, Applejack noticed the paint washing off and the apple returning to its normal color and chuckled upon realizing that it was just a joke. Fluttershy was at the pond feeding the fishes and other animals, although one of the turtles looked suspiciously fake and there was a hidden hose in it connecting all the way to the other side of the lake and behind some bushes where Naruto and the others hid. Is someone over there? Who are we gonna SQR? Who are we gonna SQR? Pinkie Pie was bouncing excitedly with a button in her mouth ready to press for the toy to shoot out water while Naruto sat nearby wondering the same thing. Fluttershy of course, said Rainbowdash. Looking through a telescope. Whoa there, we can't do that to Shy, said Naruto worriedly. Neru's right, she's so sensitive and it will hurt her feelings, even with our most harmless prank, said Pinkie Pie with Naruto nodding in agreement. I guess you're right, then we need to prank someone else. Someone who's made of tougher stuff, so who's it gonna be? Said Rainbowdash. Pinkie's shoulders were shaking and Naruto put up a poker face. We've got someone in mind, Pinkie giggled. Really? Who is it and do I know them? Of course you do, but before that you might want to look at the lake, said Naruto. Rainbowdash looked at the water to see her reflection, which had ink around her left eye. That was when Naruto and Pinkie Pie finally broke into laughter. Good one, you guys, I didn't see that one coming. She held out a hoof for Pinkie Pie to slap it, only to pull it back each time for her to, but Naruto was quick enough to do so and smirked at her. Not so fast, are ya, Dash? Naruto laughed, with the others joining in, while Fluttershy was poking at the toy in curiosity as the sun went down. That was fun, said Pinkie Pie, bouncing around excitedly. You said it, Pinks, I hadn't enjoyed myself like this for a while, said Naruto with a foxy grin. How about we do this again tomorrow, said Rainbowdash, receiving nods from the others before they left for their homes. The next morning, Pinkie Pie was walking towards Rainbowdash's home while wearing funny glasses, a fake arrow and mustache, clown nose, and blowing a party horn. Then she stopped before a house on top of a cloud. Hey Rainbowdash, wake up. It's a appealing day and we've a lot of pranking to dash. She stopped in mid-sentence when a bird-like creature popped out and stared at her. Ooh. Oh hey Pinks, Rainbowdash appeared from the roof of her home and landed before Pinkie Pie, with the creature landing afterwards. Gilda, this is my gal pal, Pinkie Pie. Pinkie looked closely and saw that Gilda looked half eagle and half lion, with her eagle head covered with white feathers, yellow talons, and large brown feathers. Hey, what's up, said Gilda dryly. Pinkie, this is my griffin friend Gilda. What's a griffin? Asked Pinkie Pie. She's half eagle and half lion. And all awesome. Gilda and Rainbowdash did their signature greeting. Gilda's been my best friend from my days at Junior Speedster Flight Camp. Hey, remember the chant? Of course, they've made us recite it every morning. I don't think I'll ever get it out of my head. So. Oh, alright, since it's for you, Dash. They both flew into the air and started saying the chant, although Gilda wasn't so enthusiastic about it. Junior Speedsters are our lives. Skybound soars and daring dives. Junior Speedsters is our quest. To someday be the very best. Then they landed back on the ground. Oh, that was awesome, and it just gave me some ideas for a prank. Would you like to join us, Gilda? Asked Pinkie Pie while blowing her party horn. Well, I'd love to play a prank as much as the next griffin, but Dash promised we'd get a flying session this morning, said Gilda while Rainbowdash looked apologetic. Yeah, I hope you don't mind, Pinkie, since Gilda just got here and I wanted to show her around. But what about Naruto? Asked Pinkie, knowing that he would be a bit disappointed. You can tell him to meet up with me later, so see ya. With that, Rainbowdash took off with Gilda, leaving a saddened Pinkie Pie to trudge back into town. Pinkie Pie was walking along the street when she heard someone call out to her from behind. Hey Pinks. I've been looking all over for you. She turned to see Naruto trotting up to her with a smile on his face. Are you ready for our pranks? I've even made some crystals last night which can produce some flashy effects. Hey, where's Dash? I thought that she would come with you, asked Naruto, looking around for her. She's hanging out with her griffin friend Gilda, said Pinkie Pie. A griffin? Yeah, they've been friends since flight camp and said that she'll hang out with us later. I see, if that's the case we'll wait around a bit before we can have our fun. Hearing that cheered Pinkie Pie up as she hugged Naruto. You're right, I'll come and get you when the time comes, see you later. She then bounced off with Naruto smiling after her. Since I have a lot of free time, maybe I can do some odd jobs from the request board until then, Naruto muttered to himself before trotting towards the post office. Meanwhile, Rainbowdash and Gilda were above town while performing loops until landing on top of a cloud to rest. That was sweet, just like old times, said Gilda. Yeah, but only faster. So now what? Asked Rainbowdash. Suddenly Pinkie popped her head through the cloud. Hey there. It's later. And I caught up. Turns out, Pinkie Pie was using a trampoline to reach up to them. Oh Pinkie Pie, you're so random. But Gilda looked annoyed at Pinkie for showing up. Hey Dash, got any gas left to race up to that cloud? A race? You're so on. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go, they both took off, leaving Pinkie Pie behind and passed through a cloud. I won. As if, I won dude. They both started to quarrel over who won the race, not noticing Pinkie Pie who had risen up to them while having a dozen of balloons tied to her waist until she spoke up. The race was really close, but I think Rainbowdash beat you by a teeny weeny itty bitty hair, or a teeny weeny itty bitty feather. You see. It's a good thing Pinkie Pie's here to keep you honest, gee, said Rainbowdash. Gilda wasn't amused at all. Hey Dash, last one up that cloud is a gnarly dragon's egg. Go, they took off in a cloud of dust, but when it cleared it showed Gilda who remained behind and was glaring at Pinkie. I think the altitude is making you dizzy. She proceeded to pop a few balloons with her talon, forcing Pinkie Pie to descend to the ground. But wait, guys. Gilda landed on the cloud next to Rainbowdash, but didn't expect to see Pinkie Pie show again, this time riding some sort of contraption. Wow guys, you almost got away from me that time. The Griffin was really getting annoyed by the pink mare. Then she spoke to Rainbowdash. So Dash, you got any new moves on your Trictionary, or are you still 100% old school? Are you kidding? I've got lots of tricks, even ones you've never seen before thanks to a friend of mine. Let me show you. Rainbowdash then flew off, giving Gilda an opportunity. Hey Pinkie, see me. Yes. Pinkie Pie came closer. Can't you take a hint? Dash doesn't need to hang out with dweebs like you, so why don't you make like a bee and buzz off? Gilda then grabbed onto the propeller, causing Pinkie's contraption to spin out of control and plummet to the ground right before Rainbowdash came back. Try to beat that. Hey, where's Pinkie Pie and her crazy contraption? She asked. She left. Something about being busy as a bee, said Gilda, looking down with self-satisfaction. Pinkie Pie got up from the ground while her contraption laid there wrecked and pouted at being snubbed like that. Later on, Rainbowdash and Gilda were flying over the town when she heard her Griffin friend speak up. Hey Dash, what do you think is that? She looked down to see something moving across the road at high speed while leaving behind a cloud of dust and realized who it might be. It must be my friend Naruto, said Rainbowdash excitedly, flying towards him. Naruto? Gilda quirked an eyebrow before flying after her. As they drew close, Rainbowdash called out to him. Hey! Naruto! It skidded to a stop and the cloud cleared to reveal a unicorn with an orange coat and a spiky yellow mane with a cutie mark of a white maelstrom on his flank. He was also wearing a black and orange hoodie jacket, a black headband on his forehead, a pair of goggles and a medallion hung around his neck. Oh hey Dash, what's up? Naruto smiled happily, then he turned to face Gilda. And you must be Gilda. It's nice to meet a friend of Dash. A friend of Dash is a friend of mine. Gilda, this is Naruto and he's a good friend of mine. He's been helping me out with my tricks and we often race each other, said Rainbowdash excitedly. Hold on, you mean that you actually race against him? Are you sure that you haven't been taking it easy on him? Asked Gilda, who was a bit skeptical. We don't hold back on each other at all. Why don't I prove it by having a race? Said Naruto with a competitive look. That sounds like a fun idea, Naruto. First one to reach the town square wins. Rainbowdash settled on the ground and lined up with Naruto and Gilda. There's still time for you to back out, Gilda smirked. I'd advise not underestimating me. Most ponies that did that ended up losing to me in the end, said Naruto with a grin. Alright then, ready, set, go. The trio took off at high through the streets of the town. Gilda was stunned upon seeing that Naruto was able to keep up with them, as she had expected him to left behind in their dust, but here he was maneuvering through the obstacles and not losing any speed at all. I've never seen a pony who can run that fast before. No wonder why Dash is so friendly with him, thought Gilda. They quickly banked right around a corner and Naruto sent chakra to his hooves to drift into a street where there were a lot of ponies walking around. Thinking quickly, he ran towards an empty cart and used it to launch himself to the rooftops. Then he slid down the walls and caught up with the others. They were neck and neck as they drew close to the town, when Naruto suddenly fell behind. Gilda smirked, thinking that the stallion had ran out of gas. then Naruto quickly overtook her and reached the finishing point in first place, Rainbowdash in second and her in third. "Looks like I win," said Naruto with a foxy grin. "Hold up, how were you able to pass me when I saw you fall behind?" asked Gilda. "I think I know what Naruto did. He must have slowed down to behind you to reduce wind resistance before overtaking you like a slingshot," said Rainbowdash. "That was fun, but I gotta go now since I have to complete some deliveries for the post office, so I'll see you around," said Naruto before trotting away. "Okay, see ya," Rainbowdash waved at him while Gilda was glaring at him with jealousy. Later on, Naruto was strolling through the town market when his senses suddenly picked up sadness and he recognized it to be Fluttershy, quickly galloping towards it to see Fluttershy crying. "Shy, what happened? Why are you crying?" asked Naruto worriedly. "It was Gilda Neru, she was being a big meanie and bullied Fluttershy," said Pinkie Pie, walking up to them. "Gilda did what?" Naruto was shocked that a friend of Rainbowdash would do that. Not only that, she played a mean trick on Granny Smith too. Naruto got angry upon hearing this as he doesn't like anyone precious to him get hurt, either physically or emotionally. "Which is why I'm gonna teach her a lesson, Pinkie Pie style." "I hope you don't mind if I join in on this?" asked Naruto with a mischievous smirk, something Pinkie Pie mirrored before nodding as they started to plan. "Is this your idea of a party?" Gilda roared out in anger. That night, Naruto and Pinkie Pie, who were throwing a party at the Sugar Cube corner, had invited every pony including Gilda. However, Gilda had been falling for pranks like lemon drops coated with pepper, dribble cup full of punch, spitting snakes and even trying to blow out relighting candles, all of which she suspected Pinkie Pie to be responsible for. Naruto was wondering when she was going to blow a fuse. It was finally the pin the tail on the pony that she did. "I've never seen much lamer dweebs in all of my life, and you Pinkie Pie are the queen lame-o with your weak little party pranks. Did you really think that you could make me lose my cool this way?" said Gilda, not noticing the look of shock which was on Rainbowdash's face. "Rainbowdash and I are much cooler than all of you. Come on Dash, we're leaving." Gilda turned to leave but noticed that Rainbowdash wasn't following her. "Actually Gilda, the one who set up all of those pranks was me," said Rainbowdash. "What? You've got to be kidding me Dash," said Gilda, who was shocked. "So I guess I'm the queen lame-o, huh?" "No way, it has to be Pinkie Pie. She must have set up all those pranks to make a fool out of me." "Me? I thought a good party might ease your mood. I should have known that dribble cup had Rainbowdash's name all over," said Pinkie Pie innocently. "I fell for the lemon drop trick, Dash got me good that time," said Naruto. "You surely didn't need any help to make a fool out of yourself Gilda. I never thought that my old friends would treat my new friends this way. If being cool is all you care about, then you should go and find cooler friends elsewhere." "Fine then. When you stop being lame and want to be cool again, then you know where to find me," shouted Gilda, turning around and leaving. "Not cool," said Rainbowdash, watching her leave, then turning to the other ponies. "I'm really sorry about this, every pony. I never thought that she would act this way. And Pinkie, I'm sorry that she ruined the party that you prepared for her." "Hey, if you wanted to hang out with party poopers then that's your business," said Pinkie Pie. "But I'm pretty sure that you would rather hang with us," said Naruto with a smirk. "You're right about that Naruto, so let's get this party rolling." Every pony cheered out loud and continued with the party. Naruto took a glance at the door and saw a yellow tail disappear before walking up to the others. Meanwhile, Gilda was walking along the road and kicking some pebbles in frustration. "I can't believe Dash chose those ponies over me, after all that we've been through since flight camp." Then she heard someone approaching her from behind, to turn to see that it was Naruto. "And what do you want, here to gloat?" "I'm rather here to find why you did that when you were different from the first time I met you," said Naruto, walking up to her side. "Why would you want to know? You don't know how it feels be alone, ignored by everyone." Naruto smiled bitterly, remembering someone saying those words before he became something like a brother. "Why don't you try me?" Gilda sat down on a hill and looked up to the night sky. "When I was young, I entered flight camp thinking that it would be fun, but I was the only griffin there and no one wanted to befriend me because of what I am. I guess it's because of the Great War, thought Naruto as he continued to listen. But then Rainbowdash walked up to me, wanting to be my friend. At first I thought that she was pitying me, but as time went I started to enjoy hanging out with her as a friend. So when I came and saw her having fun with other ponies, I got scared thinking that she had forgotten about me. So you started being rude to others just to spend more time with Dash. Yeah, but I ended up having her hate me instead. Naruto looked at the griffin for a moment before facing the night sky. Back in my village, every pony hated me for something that was out of my control. They refused to look at me, and if they do then it would be with hatred. No one wanted to be friends either, and I was so lonely, I would have fallen into despair if it weren't for my teacher who reached out to me. Soon others joined him and I considered them to be precious to me as they saved me from myself, so I swore to protect them no matter what the cost. Gilda looked at the pony in surprise. She thought that all ponies lived in a no-worries world. If so, then why are you here in Ponyville instead of your village? I had to leave under certain circumstances, never to return. But my bonds with them shall never be broken, said Naruto while tracing a hoof on his headband. But I broke mine with Dash and I'll be alone again. I wouldn't say that. I'm pretty sure that Dash still cares about you as she wanted you to hang out with us so that you would have more friends, so you just let this blow over for a while for everyone to calm down. Plus you already have another friend. Really, who? Gilda turned to see Naruto grinning at her. You've been talking to him, remember what I said back then, a friend of Dash is a friend of mine, and I meant it. But I was so rude to everyone, Gilda stammered in surprise. Then let's start over. My name is Naruto Uzumaki and I'm a unicorn. It's nice to meet you, said Naruto holding out a hoof. Gilda looked at it before she smiled and grabbed it with a talon and shook it. My name is Gilda and I'm a griffin. It's nice to meet you too. Before you leave, I want you to have this. Naruto took out something from the pocket of his jacket and held it out for Gilda to see. It was a pair of goggles similar to the one Rainbowdash wears around her neck. I made it after I left you with Dash, consider it a sign of our friendship. Gilda took the goggles and wore it around her neck. Thanks Naruto, and I hope that the next time we meet then we'll have a race again. Of course, train strong until then, said Naruto as he watched the griffin fly off into the night sky. Guess I'd better return to the party while my clone is still around. Naruto walked back into town while thinking of how he helped Rainbowdash and Gilda become friends again. It was one fine morning in Ponyville and Naruto was happily taking a stroll through the streets as he made his way to his shop, the Whirlpool. Ah, what a fine morning, a great start for another day in Ponyville. Makes me wonder what will happen today, Naruto wondered as he walked. Then he caught sight of Twilight and Spike who was riding on her back before walking over to greet them. Good morning Twilight, you too Spike. Twilight smiled happily upon seeing Naruto show up. Good morning Naruto. It's nice to see you too, especially on a morning like this with no clouds in the sky. I guess Rainbowdash woke up early this to clear the skies, said Spike while looking up at the sky, and Naruto was nodding in agreement. Then he started to look around. Of course, which makes it perfect for every pony to enjoy the sunshine. That is if there's any pony actually around to enjoy it, said Naruto as he continued to look around much to Twilight's confusion. What do you mean Naruto? I'm sure every pony is outside Dash. Twilight trailed off when she followed Naruto gaze to see that there no pony around, almost as if it's a ghost town to point that they saw a tumbleweed roll by. Where is every pony? Could it be some sort of pony holiday? Asked Spike. Not that I know of, said Twilight, plus we would have heard about it the day before. Does my breath stink? Spike let out a belch of green flames before sniffing the air. Not like before. I see you have been eating those cyan-colored gems which you said tastes like mint, said Naruto with a smirk, only for Spike to copy his habit of rubbing the back of his head when he's embarrassed. But then could it be zombies? Twilight rolled her eyes at the question. That's highly unlikely Spike. Not likely but possible. Well, you have to admit, nothing is impossible here in Equestria. said Naruto, I mean 2 alicorns raising the sun and moon is the norm around here, the same could be said for my own world where controlling the very elements or even summoning giant animals is a normal day in the life of a ninja. Then they heard someone whisper as if calling out to them. Naruto looked around until he set his eyes on the sugar cube corner where he saw Pinkie Pie poking her head through the door and waving a hoof at them to catch their attention. Twilight, Spike, Naru, come here. Get in here before she gets you, hurry, said Pinkie Pie. The trio looked at each other in confusion before they quickly ran into the shop and closed the door behind them. The room was dark, so Pinkie Pie used a flashlight to light up the room a bit. What's going on, Pinks? Why are you here alone in the dark? Asked Naruto. I'm not alone, Naru, Pinkie replied. Naruto squinted into the darkness to see that Rarity, Rainbowdash, Fluttershy and Applejack along with Apple Bloom are also inside with them. Okay, so what are you all doing here in the dark, and who are you talking about that will get us? Asked Twilight. We're hiding from her. Applejack moved the curtains at the window and pointed outside. Naruto and Twilight looked through to see a pony wearing a dark brown cloak with the hood up and was digging at the ground. Due to the cloak covering most of the pony, all they could see was mostly her snout. When the pony glanced their way, it made everyone flinch away from the window with the exception of Naruto and Twilight. Did you see her, Twilight, Naruto? Did you see Zekura? Asked Apple Bloom, but she got snapped at by Applejack. Apple Bloom, I told you never to say that name. Well, we saw her glance this way, said Twilight. Glance evilly this way, said Pinkie Pie, walking up to Twilight before she was pushed back by said pony. And a bunch of you flipped out for no good reason. No good reason? You call protecting your kin no good reason, said Applejack while holding Apple Bloom close to her. As soon as my sister saw Zekura walk right into this town, she started shaking in her little horseshoes, so I swept her up and carried her here. I wasn't shaking and I walked here by myself. I'm not a baby and I can take care of myself, said Apple Bloom, breaking free of her sister's grip. Why are you guys so scared of Zekura? I don't see or sense anything off about her from here, said Naruto as he turned away from the window after looking at the pony digging at the ground. She's mysterious, said Fluttershy. Sinister, said Rainbowdash. And spooky, said Pinkie Pie. This had Naruto quirk an eyebrow at them before he turned to look at the window with Twilight, only for the others look over them as well. They let out a gasp when they saw Zekura pull down her hood to reveal her other features. Well, would you look at those stripes, it's so garish, said Rarity. She's a zebra, said Twilight. A what? Every pony asked, even Naruto was curious about it. A zebra, and her stripes aren't a fashion choice, Rarity, she was born with them just like Naruto was born with those whisker marks of his, said Twilight, although Rarity fainted dramatically over it. But born where? I've never seen like that in these parts, except her. Applejack shuddered at the thought of there being more of her. Well, she's probably not from around here, and she's not a pony. My books say that zebra come from a faraway land, but I've never seen her in Ponyville. Where does she live? That's just it. She lives in the ever-free forest, said Applejack. Then there was a boom of thunder, oddly followed by a clutter of pans, then turned to see Spike holding a candy cane and a muffin with pans lying about in the kitchen. Spike was looking sheepish. Sorry about that. Naruto looked surprised upon hearing where she lived. So she lives in the ever-free forest, huh? There might a chance that she saw me during one of my walks, he thought, but I don't see what's so bad about her. She doesn't look bad to me. But Naru, she is evil, said Pinkie Pie. Naruto frowned a bit at what she said. I even made a song about it. Oh boy, here we go again. Rainbowdash sighed with exasperation as Pinkie Pie started to sing her song, and when she finished, Naruto looked really annoyed. I don't like the way you guys are treating her. Has she done anything to anyone here in Ponyville that you're judging her like that? Asked Naruto. No, but Applejack began, but interrupted by Naruto. But you judge her just because she looks and acts different. You're doing the very same thing that the villagers did to me back in my old world. Naruto's right. We all saw how they treated him like he was the nine-tailed fox when we watched his memories, and this is no different. Imagine seeing Naruto in Zekura's place right now, said Twilight. The Mares looked downcast when they thought about it. Sorry Naruto, I guess we were too scared to approach her and just base things off what we saw, said Rainbowdash, making Naruto smile a bit. It's okay, how about we meet Zekura and get to know her better, said Naruto. Sure, I would like to get a new friend even if she's a zebra, said Pinkie Pie. I'm all for it, said Rainbowdash. Alright, let's go. She couldn't have gone far, said Naruto. He left for the ever-free forest with the others following him. But he noticed that not all of them are here. Where did Apple Bloom go? Maybe she stayed behind at the sweet shop. Soon enough they had entered the forest, although to Naruto, who has been entering to train or explore, but the mare don't know that. After passing through the forest and stopping on a field on blue flowers, they finally caught up with the cloaked zebra, but they also saw someone whom even Applejack is familiar as well as angry with. Apple Bloom, what are you doing here? And more importantly, you get back here right now, shouted Applejack angrily. I thought she stayed behind at the sugar cube corner. Why didn't I think to sense her before we left, thought Naruto. Beware, beware you pony folk, those leaves of blue are not a joke, said Zekura before she backed away into a mist and disappeared from their sight. Applejack immediately went over to Apple Bloom and scooped her up to her back. Well, you keep your crazy mumbo-jumbo to yourself here, said Applejack, with the others agreeing with her except Naruto, who simply shook his head in disappointment at their behavior, and Twilight. And as for you, why didn't you listen to your big sister? Who knows what kind of curse Zekura would have put on you? Apple Bloom felt ashamed at being told off. Then Applejack turned to Naruto and Twilight. And you were wrong about Zekura. Who knows what would have happened if we hadn't come in time? Well, I still believe that we shouldn't judge Zekura based on rumors, said Naruto. And besides, curses aren't real and are nothing more than a fairy tale, said Twilight. Well, you two better wait and see that some fairy tales do come true. Applejack then turned and left with the others following her, leaving Naruto and Twilight. Maybe we should go home and try to sort this out with the others tomorrow, said Naruto. You're right, I could check through the books to prove to them that curses don't exist, said Twilight. Then they both left the forest to their individual homes. The next day, Celestia's sun had risen to begin the start of a nice peaceful morning, kyaa. Well, not so peaceful when one hears a scream which strangely came from the Uzumaki mansion. Meanwhile Twilight got up from her bed with a groan. She had a dream about the arguments which she and Naruto had with Applejack and the others. What a dream, curses schmerses. Whoa, said Twilight, went to look at her reflection on the mirror to see her bedhead. Maybe Zekura cursed my hair. When she levitated the comb to fix her hair, she saw something was wrong, and it had something to do with her horn, which was floppy and covered in blue polka dots, or she cursed my horn. Later Twilight and Spike were browsing through every single book in the library to find out what going on with her horn. No. None of these books have a cure. Twilight groaned in frustration at not finding the answer. There has to be a real reason for this. An illness? An allergy? A curse, said Spike, who was holding a green book with the picture of an herb on it. I meant a real reason, something that points to something real like a fact. How about this one? Spike held the book for her to read the title. Supernaturals. Twilight then stared at Spike with a deadpan expression. Spike, the word supernatural refers to things like spirits and ghosts and zombies, which is make-believe curses, nothing but a bunch of hooey. But what if you're wrong, Twilight? What if it is a dash? First. Twilight and Spike turned to the voice to see that it was Pinkie Pie, but the strange thing is that her tongue was swollen and covered in blue polka dots as well. A purse? How can it be a purse? Asked a confused Spike. Pinkie. What happened to you? Asked Twilight with concern. Paws Thekra. Ste put a curse on me. Pinkie Pie tried to talk, but her swollen wasn't making it easy and was sending saliva all over Spike, who was wiping it off. Hey, say it, don't spray it. Then they heard something hitting the window and saw that it was Rainbowdash who was constantly crashing into it. It took a few minutes before she broke through the door and ended up getting stuck in a stepladder. She's trying to say that Zekra slapped us with a curse. I'm afraid I have to agree. The next pony to show up was Rarity, well, what looks like her since the hair rather has a dreadlock appearance and covered her from head to hoof. I hate to say I told you so, Twilight, but I told you so. The group let out a gasp of surprise when the high-pitched voice belonged to Applejack, who had shrunken to a miniature size and is currently standing on Apple Bloom's back. It's a curse, I tell ya. But Fluttershy seems fine. Every pony turns to look at the shy mare. Yes, there doesn't seem to be a thing wrong with her, said Rarity. Fluttershy, are you okay? Asked Twilight, only to receive a shake of the head from her. Is there something with you? A nod. Would you care to tell us? A shake. So you're not going to tell us? A nod. Yes, you're not, or yes you will. A nod. Applejack finally had enough. Squeaked out, good gravy girl. What's wrong with you? I don't want to talk about it, said Fluttershy in a rather deep masculine voice which they've never heard. Then they heard a feminine voice from the doorway. Looks like I wasn't the only one who woke up looking strange. They turned around to see a mare with a coat of orange, but the strange thing is that she has the same whiskers marks, wears the same clothes and even bears the same cutie mark that Naruto has. The only difference was that she has her hair in twin ponytails and her eyelashes are a bit longer. And Naruto? Is that you? Asked Twilight. Yeah, it's me. I found myself looking like this when I woke up. At first I thought it was my sexy jutsu and tried to release it, but it didn't work, so I decided to come here and find out what's going on, only to find you guys looking like this. Sexy jutsu? Asked Rarity. It's something that I created on my own as a way of pranking perverts, although the girls would try to beat me up whenever I use it. Spike started laughing at how they look now. This is hilarious. Look at all of you. We got. He pointed at Rarity, Harity, to Rainbowdash, Rainbow Crash, to Pinkie Pie, Spitty Pie, to Applejack, Appletini, to Fluttershy, Flutterguy, but he had a confused look when pointed at Naruto and Twilight, and I got nothing on the both of you. I don't even know where to start with your names. Well, you can call me Naruto, it's what I usually go by when I'm in this form, said Naruto with an amused look on his face. That name actually fits your new look, said Spike, nodding in agreement. Naruto, Spike, this is no time for joking around now. Help me find more books so I can start on looking for a cure, said Twilight. Spike gave a groan before walking off to do as he was told. Rainbowdash managed to get herself free from the stepladder. I think we'll find a cure to this curse at Zekra's place. It's not a curse. Twilight quickly spoke. I agree with Dash. We go to Zekra's and force her to remove this hex, said Applejack. It's not a hex either. Soon enough every pony started to argue with the exception of Naruto, who was watching with a frown on his face. I don't know much, but aren't curses cast by using chants or potions? What Zekra said didn't even sound like a chant. Best thing to do is go to Zekra's place and find out what's going on. Naruto was about to speak up when noticed that some pony was missing amongst them. Where did Apple Bloom go? Don't tell me she went to the Everfree Forest to find Zekra again. I'd better go after her. Naruto quietly left the arguing ponies and then dashed towards the Everfree Forest in hopes of catching up with Apple Bloom before she gets herself into trouble and maybe learn more about Zekra while he's at it. I don't care what you say, Twilight, said Rainbowdash. I say we confront Zekra. I'm sure Naruto agrees with me, right Naruto? They all turned to the gender-bent pony only to see that he was nowhere to be seen. Where did he go? Asked Rarity. No, only that, but Applejack and Apple Bloom's gone too, said Twilight. I bet they went after Zekra, said Rainbowdash. Well, we better go after them. Come on girls. Twilight led the way with the others close behind, although in Rainbowdash's state she was trying to follow them despite her messed up flight coordination and had to be helped by Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie. Spike stayed behind to look for a cure among the books. Meanwhile Apple Bloom was galloping through the dark forest. She skidded to a stop when she heard a familiar from the top of her head. Stop right there. Applejack popped out of Apple Bloom's mane with a frown on her face. Turn around right now, Missy. Apple Bloom smirked after coming up with an idea. No. No. You can't ignore a direct order from your big sister. Apple Bloom nodded her head strong enough to toss Applejack before catching her in her mouth. Then she walked over and dropped Applejack onto a branch which is hanging over a ridge. Sorry Applejack, I'm the big sister now. Then she walked away with smile on her face. Apple Bloom, you come back here right this instant. I'm gonna tell Big Macintosh and Naruto on you. Applejack yelled after her only to be ignored. Then she started to pout at her current situation. Ah, pony feathers. Then she saw something dart through the trees and felt uneasily. What was that? I hope Naruto and the others have noticed that we're gone and will come to find us. Meanwhile, Twilight and the others had just entered the forest and were on their way to Zekura's place. Rarity kept tripping on her hair and ended up getting twigs and mud on it. Rainbowdash wasn't having it any easier as she kept crashing into bushes and trees until she crashed into the tree that Applejack was on. Rainbow. Thanks Celestia, there's no time to lose, we've got to get to Apple Bloom fast before it's too late. Applejack quickly made a makeshift muzzle out of a twig and vines and forced it into Rainbowdash's mouth before climbing on her. Giddy up pony. Rainbowdash was a bit miffed at being treated like a ride. Excuse me. Yeehaw. Applejack gave a jerk with her hoof and had Rainbowdash taking off after in a bit more controlled flight. Soon, they reached a hut which was built into a tree with some tiki masks at the doorstep and several gourds hanging from the branch while tied to vines. Ugh, I look horrible, said Rarity as she came up to the others while covered in dirt. Please place plooks horrible, said Pinkie Pie while raising Rarity's bangs for her to see more clearly. Oh my, that place really does look horrible. They all snuck quietly to the window and took a peek through it. Inside the hut were more masks, gourds and some candles. Nice decorations, if you like creepy. Then a door opened to reveal Zekura walking through it. She was a zebra with black and white stripes with a bit of gray there. Her mane is shaped like a mohawk and wears jewelry in the form of golden bangles around her neck, left hoof and hoop rings on her ears, and her cutie mark is a gray stylized spiral sun. She walked to a large bubbling cauldron with a container in her mouth and poured purple sprinkles into it. Then she started speaking in a language that the ponies don't recognize. Stee stole my stong. Stee stole said Pinkie Pie with a voice of accusation. She stole your song, said Rarity with Pinkie Pie nodding in affirmation. But it doesn't sound anything like your song, said Twilight. Pinkie tried to prove by singing the song, but her swollen tongue made it impossible to do so. So she turned to Fluttershy with a pleading look as if asking to sing the song for her. Fluttershy sighed in resignation before she started singing in that deep voice of hers. Well, now that you've seen all those terrible things, do you now believe us, Twilight? Asked Rarity. Well, scary-looking masks, confusing incantations, and a great big bubbling cauldron. It all points to Zekura being bad, or maybe she's just making soup, said Twilight as an attempt to deny what she was thinking, but at moment she heard Zekura say something that pretty much crushed it. The perfect temperature for ponies, I presume. Now where is that little Apple Bloom? Or maybe she's making Apple Bloom soup. Hearing this had the ponies to start screaming. Then maybe she ate Naruto first, said Rainbowdash. Applejack snapped the reins and had the Pegasus perform a nose dive for the door. I'm coming for ya, Apple Bloom. They broke through, but they ended crashing into many things with Zekura shouting in that strange language as if telling them to stop what they're doing. Then the others barged in looking very angry. Alright Zekura, what did you do to Naruto and where's Apple Bloom? No. Zekura was still yelling that unknown language. Applejack brought out her lasso, using it to latch onto one of Zekura's ear before jumping at it and started to wrestle. Meanwhile an out-of-control Rainbowdash crashed into the cauldron, spilling its contents to the floor. Zekura knelt over the content looking very upset. No. You know not what you do. You've gone and spilled my precious brew. We're on to you Zekura, Naruto, and I didn't want believe you cursed us, but the evidence is overwhelming, said Twilight. You made look ridiculous, said Rarity. You made me sound ridiculous, said Fluttershy. Pinkie Pie tried to talk but the tongue was still making it strong for the other to get what she's saying. You ruined my horn. Twilight finished the line of complaints. But it was Zekura's turn to be angry with them. How dare you? You destroy my home, destroy my work. Then rudely accuse me of being a jerk. Indeed the room had been pretty much trashed from Rainbow Dash's flight problem. Well you put the curse on us, so now you're gonna uncurse us, said Rainbow Dash although she still has the muzzle in her mouth. It is unwise to venture down this road. Your action will make my anger explode. But Twilight stepped forward and butted heads with Zekura. Where is Naruto and Apple Bloom? What the hey is going on here? And why is the whole place messed up? A feminine but familiar voice rang out and everyone turned to see Naruto standing with Apple Bloom who was carrying a bag by his side and they both looked confused. You guys are okay? Applejack exclaimed. Of course we are, what makes you say that? Asked Apple Bloom. We thought Zekura is an evil enchantress wanted to make soup out of you too, said Twilight. There was a moment of silence until it was broken by laughter from Naruto, Apple Bloom and Zekura. I guess Applejack and the others finally got to you Twilight, there's no such as a curse, said Naruto after he stopped laughing. Naruto, you can't just tell us that all this including yourself isn't because of a curse, Twilight pointed to the others before pointing at Naruto. It's not a curse, it never was to begin with, said Apple Bloom as she walked over to Zekura. If you all remember back, the words I spoke are just exact, said Zekura, then the pony recalled her saying something about blue flower. Yeah, I remember that we were walking on them, said Rainbow Dash. Zekura was trying to warn us of the plant not curse us, said Naruto. The name of the plant is Poison Joke, said Apple Bloom. The plant is much like poison oak. But its results are like a joke, Zekura explained. What the hey does that mean? Asked Applejack who was standing on top of Zekura's head. It means this plant does not breed wrath. Instead this plant just wants a laugh. Applejack was silent for a moment before finally speaking up. Will some pony please speak normal? I think what she's saying is that when we ran into Apple Bloom, we ran into the poison joke. All of our problems were nothing more than little jokes played on us, said Twilight. Little jokes. Haha, very funny. It makes me wonder what kind of chaos that I would have created if I had these plants back home. I'm sure my name would have gone down further in legends as the ultimate prankster, said Naruto with a mischievous grin. Many citizens in the Hidden Leaf felt a chill run down their spine at that moment. Then Rainbow Dash spoke. Okay, but what about the cauldron? And the chanting? Asked Fluttershy. And the creepy decor? Asked Rarity. Treasures of the native land where I'm from, Zekura pointed at one of the masks. This one speaks, hello, and this, welcome. Not very welcoming, if you ask me, said Rarity. The words I chanted were from olden times. Something you call a nursery rhyme. What about the cauldron, the Apple Bloom soup? Asked Twilight. This time it was Apple Bloom herself who spoke. Twilight, listen, when I ventured into the ever-free forest to speak with Zekura. Naruto caught up with me and we both went to see her together. When we told her what happened, Zekura gave us a list of herbs for us to collect in order to make a cure for the poison joke. So what you call soup was nothing more than a bubble bath for you guys to take to cure yourselves of the poison joke. Then she pointed at an open book on the table which Twilight went to read and instantly found the cure. But I tried to find the cure in all of my books and couldn't find anything, said Twilight. Then Zekura closed the book to reveal an all too familiar title. Here is the book you see. Sad that you lack it in your library, said Zekura. Twilight felt disappointed in herself as she looked at the book. Actually I do have this book, but I didn't look inside because the title was so weird. Then she looked at the title again, Supernaturals, Natural Remedies and Cure-Alls that are simply super. I'm so sorry, Zekura. I had the answer the whole time, if only I had bothered to look inside. Zekura chuckled softly as she looked at the other ponies who felt the same way. Maybe next time you will take a second, and not judge the cover of the book. That sounds just like what my teacher says, to always look underneath the underneath, said Naruto as he reminisced the past. What do you mean by that, Naruto? Asked Twilight. During the beginning of my career as a ninja, my teacher taught me that there's more to things than meets the eye, so you have to learn more about it from different perspectives. At first I didn't get it since I was just starting out with my teammates, but I slowly understood as time went on. That definitely sounds like good advice. Then Twilight turned to Zekura. Zekura, would you be kind enough to mix up another batch of the herbal bath? Mix it up, I certainly will. Yet I am missing a herb from Ponyville, said Zekura, pointing to one of the pictures on the book. But every time Zekura comes to town, all the shops are mysteriously closed, said Apple Bloom. I'm sure we can fix that easily, right girls, said Naruto with a knowing smile. Definitely, Twilight smiled back. Later on, Naruto and others explained to the ponies of Ponyville about Zekura's true origins to get rid of the silly rumors, and they welcomed the zebra into the town. They were also able to gather more of the ingredients needed for the cure, and the ponies who owned the spa agreed to let them make the bubble bath there. Ah, it feels so good to be my appealing self again, said Rarity, who had her hair restored to pristine condition. You said it, Rarity, I'm not so little anymore, said Applejack, back to her normal size. Oh, my gosh. I never realized how horrible it is not to talk. I mean, I love talking so much, and when I couldn't talk anymore, my tongue was all, eh. It was the worst. Don't you agree, Fluttershy? There was a pause from Fluttershy before she finally spoke, yes, in her normal voice. Naruto smiled happily as he stood outside after taking the bath, but he could hear the ponies laughing, but he quirked when he heard Rarity say something. You know, when I saw Naruto as a girl I had some fabulous ideas for some dresses. Too bad he's a male again. But didn't Naruto say that he created that jutsu? So that must mean that he can change into a girl again, said Twilight. Naruto felt a chill crawl up his spine and started to sneak away when he heard a voice from behind. Oh, Naruto, could you help me with something please? Naruto slowly turned around to see Rarity right behind him with a glint in her eyes. Well, you see, I think I left my ramen on the stove, wouldn't want it to burn. See ya. Naruto took off with Rarity chasing after him while trying to use her magic to catch him, with the others watching them and laugh. Come back, Naruto. There's this dress I really want you to try out, shouted Rarity. I'll pass on that and stop calling me Naruto. I'm not a girl anymore, shouted Naruto as he darted left and right to avoid Rarity's magic. I can't believe that I'm agreeing with Irika-sensei when he says that the sexy jutsu is a stupid one. Phew, what a day, said Naruto as he walked back into town. Apparently he had gone to make a delivery to a noble over at Canterlot today and had just returned and was making his way back to the shop. At least, Rare's inspiration had died down a bit. I thought that she would never stop chasing after me to put on some new dress that she made. Ever since Rarity learnt of Naruto's jutsu to change his gender, she had been dragging him to her boutique to serve as a mannequin for her latest projects, much to his embarrassment and the amusement of the others, especially Rainbowdash, whom he knew would never let him hear the end of it. Then he glanced to the side and saw Twilight, Spike and Applejack. Although the weird thing is that Twilight was climbing out of a ditch and Applejack was hiding under a vegetable stall and looking at the sky in fear. What's going on with them? I'd better go take a look, said Naruto before trotting over to them. Hi girls and Spike, what's going on here that one is coming out of a ditch and the other is hiding under a stall as if something will fall on her head? Hi Naruto, well thing is Pinky's tail started twitching and then Spike started to explain, but when Naruto heard the words Pinky and twitching tail, he immediately started looking around him and was prepared to use his barrier crystal. It's okay, the prediction already came true, so it's safe now. Wait a minute, don't tell me that you believe in this stuff that Pinky says too, said Twilight with a look of disbelief. Applejack came out from under the stall and dusted her hat before speaking. I know that it doesn't make much sense, but most of us who live in Ponyville have learnt that if Pinky starts twitching then you'd better listen. AJ is right, Twilight, back then I was just as skeptical like you are. The first time Pink's tail twitched, I simply shrugged it off as a habit of hers and I ended up paying the consequences, said Naruto. What happened? Asked Twilight curiously. A barrel full of molasses fell on me, it took me a lot of showers just to get the stuff off me. Since then, I've always had to keep my guard up whenever Pink starts twitching. Right then, Pinkie Pie showed up and her ears are moving around, my ears are flopping. My ears are flopping. What does that mean? Asked Spike while cringing in fear at what might happen, the same going for Naruto and Applejack. Although Twilight was still doubtful, then she noticed that Pinkie was staring at her. I'll start a bath for you, said Pinkie Pie. This had the others slowly back away from Twilight. Twilight chuckled softly, the bath. This keeps getting more ridiculous by the minute. At that moment, a donkey pulling a carriage passed behind her, passing over a mud puddle and splashing it all over her. Twilight growled angrily at what had just happened. Later on, Naruto was standing front of the sugar cube corner waiting for Twilight and Pinkie Pie to come out. He had secretly sent a shadow clone to deliver the money to Trixie at the shop so that he'll come by later. He heard the door open and saw the girls come out before walking over to them. Had a nice bath, Twilight? Asked Naruto with a playful smile. It would have been if there wasn't an alligator in the tub at the time, said Twilight. Oh, so you met Gummy, Pinkie's pet alligator. You know about the alligator? Yep, Nara met him back when he was helping me out in the sugar cube corner. Gummy always bites his tail whenever he sees Naru, said Pinkie Pie hopping next to them. And I'm pretty lucky that he doesn't have any teeth or it might have hurt a lot, said Naruto with a smirk. Well, I still don't believe in this special power stuff, it's nothing but a bunch of mumbo-jumbo, said Twilight. What's not to believe? You use magic and Naru uses chakra, so what's the difference? Asked Pinkie Pie. You have no idea, there's huge difference. Magic is something you study and practice, it only happens when you decide to do it, and it's meant to make something specific that you choose to happen, but with you Pinkie, it just doesn't make sense at all, said Twilight. Well, you can't apply common sense to the things Pinks does, it won't work no matter how strong you try, said Naruto. And that's not true, Twilight, sometimes it's a fun ship random things happening to my body at random times that supposedly predict the future. I call them combos, said Pinkie Pie. Combos? Asked Twilight curiously as she walked in direction of the Ponyville library. That's new for me, Pinks, what do you mean by combos? Asked Naruto walking alongside them. Yeah, like ear flop, knee twitch and eye flutter. That means the sky is about to be graced with an appealing rainbow, said Pinkie Pie. Yeah, sure, said Twilight still sounding doubtful as she neared the door. Oh, I feel a combo coming. Naruto turned to see what combo Pinkie will have, ear flop, eye flutter, knee twitch. At that moment, the door flew and hit Twilight in the face to reveal Spike backing out of the door while holding a stack of books. Naruto quickly ran over and helped Twilight. I thought you said that combo meant appealing rainbow, Twilight moaned out in pain. I saw Pinks do a different combo than the one she said earlier, said Naruto. That's right, what you were thinking was ear flop, knee twitch then eye flutter. But this one was an ear flop, then eye flutter, then knee twitch, which usually means to look out for opening doors, said Pink while demonstrating the combos. I'll keep that combo in mind since I don't want a headache from getting hit by doors, said Naruto before turning to Twilight. Are you alright, Twilight? I'll be fine, but don't believe this, said Twilight with walking up close to her. You don't believe what you don't understand, said Pinkie Pie, which had Twilight get a thoughtful look on her face. Oh, Twilight is about to enter her research mode, though Naruto with a sweat drop. Sure enough, he followed them into the library and went down a flight of stairs to where her laboratory is. There she placed some sort of helmet on Pinkie's head which had some cords connected to a machine that was printing out graphs and strapped her forehooves down to another machine. Okay then, now when you get another twitch, will all kinds of scientific information, said Twilight. Okie dokie Loki, said Pinkie Pie. Then they waited for a twitch, and waited, and waited. Any twitches yet? Nopey dopey, they waited some more and still no twitches. Naruto started to wish that he kept a daring-do book in his medallion if he knew that they were going to wait this long. Anything? Asked Twilight, who was beginning to get annoyed. Pinkie squinted her eyes as if in concentration before shaking her head in negative. Nope, I got nothing. Are you kidding me? After a day of non-stop twitching, now that I've hooked you up there's not even a single one, said Twilight. I don't control it, they just come and go. That makes no sense. Sometimes you just have to believe in things, even if you can't figure them out. She's right, Twilight, there are many things that one can't always figure out, so you just have to accept them as it is, said Naruto, thinking of how he was able to defeat Neji despite everyone believing that he would lose to the Hyuga prodigy. I will not believe in anything I cannot explain, said Twilight. Wait, I'm getting something. Twilight excitedly quickly ran back to the machine in anticipation, but they didn't get a twitch but rather heard a growl. It's my tummy, that usually means I'm hungry. Now that you mention it, I could go for a bowl of ramen right about now, said Naruto as his stomach also growled. But Twilight wasn't happy at all. Arg, you know what? Just forget it. I don't need to know if this is real or not, I don't need to understand it, I don't even care. She walked away in a huff, so Naruto went over and helped Pinkie Pie off the machine. Let's go eat, said Naruto. Okie dokie Loki, said Pinkie Pie as she hopped up the stairs past Twilight and towards the door with Naruto behind them. When they reached the door, Pinkie started to twitch again, but Twilight ignored her and passed on. Naruto recognized the combo and tried to warn Twilight. But it was too late as the door flew open and slammed into Twilight to reveal Spike behind it. Naruto, Pinkie, have you seen Twilight? Asked Spike. Said Pinkie before leaving through the door, which closed to reveal Twilight behind it, and Naruto went to help her up again. Twilight, what were you doing back there? Twilight was glaring at them. Did the three of you plan this? We didn't plan anything, Twilight. I saw Pinkie twitch and tried to warn you, but I was too late about it, said Naruto. Arg, this is ridiculous. This can't be happening, this makes no sense. I have to figure this out, said Twilight, then she turned to Naruto, and you're going to help me, Naruto? Looks Twilight's research mode is in full blast, thought Naruto as he followed Twilight, who went to collect certain items. Later that day, Pinkie Pie was happily hopping along the road and a bush was quietly following her from a distance before stopping, and a pair of binoculars popped out of it. It was Twilight, who is wearing a pith hat with a pencil in her mouth. Then she started writing notes on a small handbook but was surprised when she heard someone call out to her from behind. Twilight, she turned around to see that it was Spike, then she quickly dragged him into the bush. Honestly, Spike, don't you better than to sneak up on ponies, said Twilight. Oh sorry, but isn't that what you're doing? No, I'm doing scientific research, I'm observing Pinkie Pie. Other name, Pinkius pieicus in its natural habitat, said Twilight. Pinkius pieicus? Asked Spike confusedly. You're making it sound like Pinks is some sort of wildlife that you're observing, Twilight, a voice spoke. Twilight and Spike traced the voice and looked up to see Naruto standing on a tree branch. There's something fishy going on with the whole twitchy prediction thing, and I'm getting to the bottom of it, said Twilight. She peeked out of the bush and saw Pinkie Pie hopping away. Come on, Pinkius pieicus is on the move. Twilight picked up the bush and followed after her with Naruto close behind as he leapt from one tree branch to another. They followed Pinkie, who was playing around the playground in front of the schoolhouse. Twilight watched through her binoculars and saw Pinkie rub her nose, an itchy nose, then she saw Pinkie Pie hid under a large horseshoe. Aha! That makes no sense. Then she turned to Naruto and Spike. See? She's hiding like something's about to fall from the sky, but a twitchy tail means something's gonna fall from the sky, not an itchy nose. Naruto and Spike peeked over to see what Pinkie would be hiding from. Their eyes widened when they saw a swarm of bees appear from the sky and was heading in their direction. Oh, run, said Naruto as he and Spike ran for cover, leaving Twilight behind. Naruto, Spike, where are you going while I'm the middle of explain dash, Twilight didn't get finished as the bees swooped in and started to sting her. The duo poked their heads from behind a tree and winced at the thought of being stung. Well, I have my own conclusion. If a twitchy tail means something will fall from the sky, wouldn't an itchy nose mean something will appear from the sky, said Naruto. That actually makes sense, Naruto, said Spike while writing some notes on a small handbook. Next they followed to Pinkie Pie to Sweet Apple Acres and were spying from behind a bale of hay which was placed next the barn. What's she doing now? Asked Spike. Smelling some flowers, said Twilight, who had a lot of band-aids on the bee stings. Holy guacamole. I wonder what that means. I don't think it has anything to do with the twitching, Spike, said Naruto. Wait, I'm getting something. Ear flop, eye flutter, knee twitch, said Twilight. Hang on, that's a combo that means to watch out for opening doors, said Naruto as he and Spike quickly moved away from the barn. Twilight was laughing at them. You guys believe in this stuff, don't you? Let me show you that there's nothing for you to be afraid of. She walked up to the barn door and leaned against it. There, you see? There's nothing for you to worry about. Maybe she's right, said Spike. I don't know, that door was already open, said Naruto with a thoughtful look, but I do seem to recall AJ telling me that she was building an apple cellar around here, but I can't seem to remember where exactly. They heard Twilight scream and looked to see a red door which was open on the ground, and there was a flight of stairs. Then they heard Applejack's voice. Twilight. You came to visit my new apple cellar, how nice. Twilight, are you okay? Naruto, do you still have that first aid kit in your medallion? Asked Spike. Yeah, but I think we're gonna need more than that, Naruto replied as they looked down the stairs with a wince. Then they traced Pinkie Pie to the park and were spying from behind a bench, although one won't consider that since Twilight is sitting on a wheelchair with her forehooves all bandaged up and was in a bad mood. Alright, write this down, said Twilight as she looked through the binoculars. Twitchy tail. Naruto tensed at what he heard but thought to ask just in case. What did you say? Oh, she said twitchy tail, said Spike, then his eyes widened at what he said. Twitchy tail. Be quiet, we can't let Pinkie know we're here, said Twilight. Naruto was slowly backing away and Spike had already ran for cover. Twilight, the first 2 times you were caught unawares. I really think you should use the barrier crystal that I gave you. Naruto, I really think you're overreacting on th. Twilight started, but then a flower pot landed on her head, followed by an anvil, a carriage carrying hay and finally a piano. I can accept having a barrel full of molasses falling on me back then, but where did these ones come from? Said Naruto as he looked up to the sky. Sorry boss, I didn't know what went wrong, said Derpy smiling sheepishly with her friend next to her. They were trying to offload some items from the moving truck in the sky but dropped them by mistake. You have to be more careful, said the boss with a stern look. Meanwhile Pinkie Pie met up with Applejack, who was carrying a bucket full of apples. Hey Applejack, what ya doing? Asked Pinkie Pie. Taking more apples to my new apple cellar. How about you, Pinkie? What are you doing? Said Applejack. Oh, letting Twilight secretly follow me all day without me knowing. You mean you knew all along? Why didn't you tell me? Asked Twilight as she walked up to them while covered in bruises and Naruto came with Spike on his back. No silly, that would have spoiled the surprise. Oh hey Naru, I didn't see you there, said Pinkie with a smile. Wait, how come you knew I was following you but you didn't know that Naruto was there too? Twilight, you forgot that I'm a ninja. We were trained to be stealthy and not let any pony know of our presence, and to tell you the truth, it's pretty strong to hide from someone like Pinks, said Naruto. He could see that Twilight was trying to control her temper. Is the tail still twitching? Spike asked fearfully. All done, clear skies from here on in as far as I can tell, said Pinkie, then she started twitching all over. What was that all about, Pinks? I've never seen you twitch like that, said Naruto. I don't know Naru, I've never got anything like it before. But whatever that shudder was about, it's a doozy. It said something you're never gonna expect to happen is gonna happen, then Pinky started twitching again, and it's gonna happen at Froggy Bottom Bog. That's where Fluttershy's headed. Applejack exclaimed. What's Shy doing over there? Asked Naruto. Fluttershy was transferring the frogs from the lake since it was getting overpopulated, said Twilight. Is it about her? Asked Spike. I am not sure, said Pinky. We better go and make sure that she's okay, said Applejack before galloping off with Pinky following her. AJ is right, twitching or no twitching, we have to go see if she's alright, Naruto before running after the others with Spike on his back. Calm down every pony. All we know is that Pinkie Pie just got a case of the shivers. That's all, said Twilight, but there was no one around to listen. She rolled her eyes before running after the others and caught up with Naruto and Pinkie Pie. I thought you don't believe in this stuff, asked Spike from Naruto's back. I don't, I just want to be there to see the look on Pinkie's face when we find out nothing's wrong, said Twilight. Okie dokie, said Pinkie Pie as they entered the forest. They were running through the dark forest and Pinkie Pie was still twitching. Feeling cold? Need a jacket or something? Asked Twilight. Nope, I'm fine. Or maybe I could use a nice warm furry scarf, said Pinkie as she grabbed Naruto's tail and wrapped it around her neck, which startled him a bit. At least ask before turning my tail into a scarf, Pinks, said Naruto with a playful glare, which Pinkie returned with a grin. Okie dokie. Darn, I wish I could do that too, thought Twilight with a pout. So what do you think happened to Fluttershy? Asked Spike nervously. I hope nothing happened, said Applejack. I know, but what would you think might happen? Spike, let's not go there, as long as we believe Shy is okay, then she will be, said Naruto. Naruto is right, Spike, she's fine, I'm sure of it, said Twilight. I hope you two are right, for Fluttershy's sake, said Applejack, then she looked ahead, look. There's Froggy Bottom Bog. They started looking for Fluttershy while calling her name. Naruto activated his aura Kokii and looked around a bit before finding her aura nearby. Hey girls, I found Shy. Follow me. Naruto led the way and they found Fluttershy guiding the frogs into the bog. Fluttershy, you're okay, said Spike happily. Of course, said Fluttershy. Phew, what a relief, Applejack. It's just that we were worried about you and came to check, said Naruto with a smile. I'm so glad that everything is alright, said Pinkie Pie. Sorry, I know it's not nice to gloat, but, aha. I told you there was nothing to worry about, and I was right, said Twilight. Naruto noticed something was moving through the bog and a green smelly mist appeared. His eyes narrowed at what he saw as the others hid behind him. It started to raise its head, or should we say heads, from behind Twilight, who was completely aware of what's going on. Pinkie Pie said whatever she was shuddering about was a doozy, and the only doozy here is how right I am, said Twilight. Twilight, said Applejack, trying to get her attention. Pinkie's made a lot of predictions today, but ugh, what is that smell? But what we've learned is that we can't believe in anything that we can't see for ourselves. In that case, you might want to look behind and upwards, said Naruto as he took a fighting stance. Twilight turned around and her eyes widened in fear at what she saw. It was a four-headed serpent looking down at them. I see it, but I don't believe it. Is that a hydra? Said Pinkie fearfully. We have to time for questions, Pinks. We have to get out of here, shouted Naruto as he and the girls started running with the hydra in pursuit. Pinkie, run, shouted Twilight. Naruto turned around to see Pinkie standing there frozen in fear and the hydra were about to attack. He quickly doubled back to get her while sending chakra to his feet to increase his speed, but he realized he won't reach her in time, so he called out to her. Pinks, use the barrier crystal. Naruto shouted out. It seemed to have snapped Pinkie out of it as she called out. Protect, a transparent dome appeared around her and knocked back the head that attacked, making it roar out in pain. But when the barrier disappeared, the other heads saw it as an opportunity and swooped in to attack again. By then, Naruto had gotten close enough to stretch out a chakra tendril which wrapped around Pinkie Pie and pulled her away right before the jaws came upon her. Come on, we gotta keep moving. They kept running as the Hydra continued to attack them. They were able to evade the jaws thanks to the barrier crystals and using the environment to their advantage, but soon they reached a dead end and they heard a cry and turned to see Spike stuck in marsh with the Hydra closing in. Spike, hold on, water stream, shouted Twilight as she used her magic. Water churned underneath Spike before shooting out like a geyser, launching him in their direction, and Naruto jumped and caught him with his tail. Quickly, up that hill, they started running up, and the Hydra was about to follow them when used his tail to reach into his ninja pouch and brought out a white crystal, then he threw it at the heads. When the crystal got close, it let out a bright flash of light which forced the Hydra to stop and close their eyes in pain. What was that, Naruto? Asked Applejack while they were running. That's flash crystal that I made. It releases a flash of blinding light which makes it perfect for distractions. It's also good for pranking too, said Naruto. We almost made it, said Twilight. But Pinkie's still shuddering, said Spike, and like he said, Pinkie was still shaking all over before it stopped only to start up again. They reached a cliff with only thin stone pillars to serve as stepping stones to the other side. They felt the ground shake and turned around to see the Hydra climbing the hill as it had recovered from the flash. He'll be up here in no time. We have to cross quickly, one at a time, said Twilight. I distracted in order to buy you some time, said Naruto as he prepared to meet it. No, Naruto, it's too dangerous. Why do you always keep doing this? Because I don't want my precious ponies to get hurt. Now go. Naruto ran down the hill and stopped before the Hydra, who was glaring at him. Hey Hydra, I have a question. Which of the heads does all the thinking while the others just stand there looking dumb? The four heads looked thoughtful before they roared angrily at him. Since it took you so long to figure it out, then all of the heads are dumb. One of the heads attacked him with jaws wide open. But Naruto jumped back and let the head hit the ground before slamming the top of it with a chakra arm, burying it further into the ground. He dashed forward and ran up the neck of another head before jumping it and at another head, chakra terahoipu. Naruto spun around, slammed it with a glowing tail, but then two of the heads came in from different directions with the intent to crush as he was in midair with no way to dodge. Shadow Clone Jutsu. A clone appeared next to Naruto and wrapped his tail around him and threw high into the air before disappearing with the two Hydra heads getting nothing but a headache each. Naruto reached the height of his throw before he started descending towards the ground. The Hydra opened their mouths wide thinking that he would fall into them, but Naruto simply smirked as he used Pegasus Dash to change direction and stretched out a chakra tendril to wrap around one of their necks and swung around in an arc. Then he formed a long chakra arm and performed a clothesline on three of the heads which knocked them out. I'm sorry about this, but I didn't want you to eat me or my friends. So I'll take my leave and bid you adieu, said Naruto before he ran off and heard the remaining head roar at him angrily. He crossed over the stone pillars and met Twilight and the others with Pinkie hugging him happily. Naru, I'm so glad that you're okay, said Pinkie. So for worrying you girls, said Naruto looking apologetic. That was pretty darn dangerous, Naruto. You shouldn't be making us worry like that, said Applejack, making Naruto bow his head. All that matters is that we all okay, and I'd say we just had ourselves one heck of a doozy, said Twilight, but then Pinkie started shuddering again. That wasn't it, said Pinkie. What wasn't what? Asked Spike. The Hydra wasn't the doozy. What? How can it not be the doozy? What on earth could be doozier than the Hydra? Asked Twilight, who looked like she was about to lose her temper. Dunno, but that just wasn't it. It was the final straw, as it mad Twilight so mad that she practically lit up in flames, much to the surprise of the others. Ooh, I give up. Give up what? Spike asked curiously. The fight. I can fight it anymore. I don't understand how, why, or what, but Pinkie's sense somehow makes sense. I don't see how it does, but it just does. Just because I don't understand it doesn't mean it's not true. You mean you believe? Asked Pinkie while shuddering. Yes, I guess I do. Then Pinky stopped shuddering just like that and it didn't even start up again. Oh, that was it. That's the doozy. What was the doozy? Asked Applejack. Twilight believing in the Pinky sense. I never expected that to happen. That was a doozy of a doozy it was. Then Pinky walked off while singing to herself as if what happened the past 10 minutes didn't happen at all. Fluttershy noticed that Naruto was thinking rather deeply. Naruto, what are you thinking about? If I don't know any better, it seems like the Pinky sense was upset at Twilight for not acknowledging it and did all this to change her mind, said Naruto. When you say it like that, it makes sense, said Spike, which had the others to start laughing. Alright, let's go home since we've enough for one day. Naruto walked towards Ponyville with the others following close behind. The next day Naruto was heading to his shop and saw Twilight walking with Pinkie Pie, both are wearing umbrella hats. Chuckling softly, he walked over to say hello. Hey girls, what does the Pinky sense say today? Asked Naruto with a foxy grin. At that moment Pinky's tail started twitching. I wonder what's gonna drop out of the sky this time, said Twilight as they all looked up. You'll never know, said Pinky. Just be sure to keep the barrier crystal this time, said Naruto with a wink, making Twilight blush at what happened back then. What they didn't know was that Spike opened a window to the library, was about to send a letter to Canterlot. Something fell out of the sky and landed before him, who was none other than Princess Celestia herself. Twitchy tail. Celestia simply took the letter and flew off. Holy guacamole. Scootaloo was currently sitting on a couch in the Uzumaki mansion waiting for Sweetie Belle and Apple Bloom to show to that they can plan their activities for the day on how they can get their cutie marks. She was trying to think of one, but something else happened to get her attention, which was a unicorn with orange fur and a spiky blonde mane. It was none other than her big brother Naruto Uzumaki, who was currently walking up and down the sitting room, looking impatient. What's the matter, big bro? You look like you're in a hurry, asked Scootaloo curiously. After being adopted and living with him for several months, she learnt that her brother is not exactly the most patient pony and doesn't like to stay in one place while not doing anything. Well, you see Scoots, I'm waiting for Trixie to come down from her room so that we can head on over to the Sugar Cube corner, and I don't want us to be late, said Naruto sitting alongside Scootaloo on the couch. What's going to happen at the Sugar Cube corner? Celestia is coming over to Ponyville and we were invited to have a brunch with her. Ding, dong, Naruto and Scootaloo turned to the sound and looked out the window to see that the clock tower had struck 4 o'clock. Oh no, we're late. Naruto galloped to the bottom of the stairs. Trixie, hurry up, we're already late. I'm coming, Naruto. Trixie came walking down the stairs in her cape and conical hat, the same ones that she wore when she first came to Ponyville. Sorry to have kept you waiting, but Trixie is ready to have an audience with Her Majesty. That's great, Trix, but we gotta hurry. Naruto turned to Scootaloo. See ya later, Scoots, have fun with Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle, and try not to make a mess. Okay, big bro, see you later. Scootaloo saw them out of the door before closing it as they headed towards the Sugar Cube corner. After walking for a while, Naruto and Trixie finally made it to the sweet shop, only to see Fluttershy walking away from it. Hey Shy, what's the matter and why are you leaving Sugar Cube corner? Asked Naruto, looking confused. Trixie is wondering the same, as she recalls that Princess Celestia had invited you to the brunch as well, said Trixie. Oh hello Naruto, Trixie, well you see the guards wouldn't let me pass and I didn't want to be a bother, said Fluttershy. Naruto shook his head, knowing how timid Fluttershy could be. Then it's a good thing that we're here, come on. He beckoned her to follow him to where the guards stood at the entrance. Hey guys, my friends and I were invited by Princess Celestia, and she too has been invited. Very well then, you may pass, said the guards as they stood aside for them to pass through, which they did. Thank you very much Naruto, Trixie, said Fluttershy happily. Anytime Shy, I'm always happy to help out a good friend of mine, said Naruto with a foxy grin. Indeed, Trixie will never hesitate to assist her friends, said Trixie with a smile. Naruto, Fluttershy, Trixie, they turned to see Twilight walking towards them. I'm so glad that you all made it, the party wouldn't have been the same without you. Naruto looked around to see a lot of ponies with some having conversations while others are snacking on some pastries. Spike was using his fiery breath to bake some pies before Mr. Cakes carries them off to serve the guest. Mrs. Cakes was currently speaking with Princess Celestia and making me sure that she was served. "Sorry I'm late, I had to finish taking care of a patient first," said Fluttershy. "And I had to make myself look presentable, unlike a certain pony," said Trixie before glancing at Naruto with a knowing look. "Hey, you girls know that I'm not one for formalities all the time, and besides I like the way I look," said Naruto. "There's no arguing with that," the three Mares thought simultaneously. "It's all right since you're all here, I'm sure that Princess Celestia would love to get to know you." "I hope she will, I mean, of course she will," said Twilight, although they saw her right eye twitching and was looking very nervous. "Wow Twilight, I thought I was the only one who got nervous at social gatherings," said Fluttershy. "It's not that, I just want the princess to approve of my friends. But she's met us all before. And read about you in my letters, but this the first time that she spent any real time with you. I want every pony to make a good impression. So I guess that's why she wanted to have this get-together with us, so as to know us better," said Naruto, unaware that Princess Celestia had been sneaking a few looks at him. "Well, I'm sure that you have nothing to worry about. Don't touch me. Watch the dress." They turned to the voice and saw Rarity in a fancy dress, trying to prevent any pony from doing that might end up staining the dress. "Careful, you're going to spill that on me." Then Mrs. Cakes came by carrying a tray of cupcakes. "Oh, that looks delicious." "What is it?" "Oh, does it stain?" "Keep it away from me." "Or, perhaps not that casual," said Fluttershy. "Rarity can be quite vigilant when it comes to her clothes," said Naruto with a sweat drop. "Well, Trixie would do the same thing if she wants to make an impression in gatherings such as this," said Trixie, nodding agreement at Twilight's actions. Naruto looked around and saw that Applejack currently has a dilemma, she just can't seem to decide what to eat first. Which is the salad and which is the appetizer again? And which am I supposed to first? Every time Applejack wanted to start on a snack, she would hesitate. This happened a couple times before she finally got fed up. "Oh, never mind, I'm not hungry." Fluttershy could see that Twilight was becoming more and more nervous and tried to calm her down. "It's okay Twilight, so our friend's manners aren't perfect. I doubt the princess would notice." Have you girls forgotten about a certain pony whom manners don't apply to and knows how to grab one's attention in a matter of seconds?" said Naruto. "Really, who?" asked Twilight thoughtfully before her eyes widened in realization. "Wait, you mean Pinkie Pie?" No sooner Naruto mentioned the name than they heard a loud whoop and turned to see the said pony jumping excitedly all over the place and eating anything she could get her hooves on. Hoo! Cupcakes, candies, and pies, oh my! Oh! Chocolate fountainy goodness! Pinkie Pie dipped her head in a chocolate fountain before licking it off her face. "Oh no," said Twilight worriedly. "Don't worry about it, I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Cakes got it all under control," said Naruto. Sure enough, Mr. Cakes grabbed Pinkie Pie just before she got in over her head and pulled her away. "We're heading to greet Princess Celestia, are you coming, Naruto?" asked Twilight. "I'll come by later, I want to take a look around a bit." Twilight nodded before she and Fluttershy went to sit next to Princess Celestia while Trixie went to talk with Rarity. Naruto began to walk around and greet every pony as he passed by. He came upon two familiar ponies to who he happily walked over and called out to them. "Hey Vinyl, Octavia, long time no see." The said ponies turned around and smiled upon seeing him. "Hello Naruto, it's good to see you again," said Octavia. "Hey Naruto, we haven't seen you for a long time, where've you been?" said Vinyl. "Sorry about that, I've been busy with the shop. What's been going since we last met?" said Naruto, rubbing the back of his head sheepishly. "Well, I've been standing as a DJ for several house parties and Octi came back from a concert that was held at Canterlot. You gotta join me one of these days, I'm sure that we'll rock the place the next time I'm called play to music at a party. I'll be looking forward to it." Octavia cleared her throat to gain his attention. I also wish to invite you to one of my concerts when you aren't too busy. Okay, anyway I'm going to meet up with Twilight so I'll see you later. Naruto waved at them before walking towards the table where they sat with Princess Celestia. Hello Princess Celestia, it's nice to see you again, although I'm wondering why Luna didn't come with you. Hello Naruto, it's good to see you as well. Luna has been rather busy dealing with paperwork which is why she couldn't make it, said Princess Celestia with a smile. I understand, paperwork is the bane of all leaders no matter which world one ends up in, said Naruto, but inwardly Celestia was smiling mischievously. Meanwhile in Canterlot, Luna is in her room with stacks of paperwork surrounding her as she was signing them as fast as she can. Why did Big Sis have to leave me with all this paperwork to sign? She said that she had some business at Ponyville, and I wanted to come along to see Naruto too. She continued to sign and then paused in the middle of it. She began to get suspicious. Big Sis looked like she was in a hurry to leave. Could it be that she dumped all this on me so that I would stay behind while she went alone to see Naruto? That's not fair. Luna started to whine. She must have noticed the little trick that I played on her by now. Celestia giggled to herself as she sipped on her tea before placing it on the table. Empty teacup at 4 o'clock. Mrs. Cakes called out in alert. I got it honey bun, said Mr. Cakes as he quickly moved in to refill the cup with tea. Naruto was stunned at what he just saw. Whoa, that's some teamwork that Kakashi-sensei would have been proud of. Oh, thank you, said Princess Celestia. No problem at all your majesty, said Mr. Cakes. Celestia took another sip only for Mrs. Cakes to show up and fill it up again. Thank you again. Oh but of course your majesty, said Mrs. Cakes. This kept on going for a while until Celestia pretended to sip which produced quite a comical result. Gotcha, Celestia giggled while Naruto was laughing. That was a good one, I approve of it, said Naruto after reining in his laughter. Naruto, said Twilight. Sorry about that, the prankster side of me couldn't help but compliment the trick. Naruto rubbed the back of his head sheepishly while Celestia giggled softly. Thank you for the compliment Naruto. Celestia then turned to Fluttershy, and what about you dear? Fluttershy was it? Me? Oh yes, your highness, said Fluttershy. I understand from Twilight Sparkle's letters that you enjoy tending to the needs of woodland creatures. Yes, I love to take care of them. As do I. As princess, I care deeply about all creatures, great and small. Nothing means more to me than the well-being of my subjects. Naruto smiled warmly as he remembered the third Hokage when he was alive. That sounds just like the Hokage of my village. Suddenly they heard someone coughing and turned to see a birdcage, and inside it was the mostly sickly-looking bird they've ever seen with its feathers falling off every once in a while. Ah Philomena, my pet. You're awake. Do say hello to our esteemed guests, said Celestia. Philomena started to cough and sputter in response to them. Oh, my, said Fluttershy. That has to be the most sickly-looking bird I've ever seen, thought Naruto as he didn't want to appear rude. She is quite a sight isn't she, said Celestia. I've never seen anything like it, said Fluttershy. Naruto's sensing abilities kicked in and he could feel the worry emanating from her. Then one of the royal guardsmen came over and whispered into Celestia's ear. Really? Well if I must, said Celestia, then she turned to the crowd. I'm sorry every pony, I'm afraid I have to cut the party short. Twilight almost spat out her tea when she heard it. The mayor has requested an audience with me. Royal duty calls. Thank you for a wonderful time and it's been a joy getting to know all of you better. With that said, the princess left with the guards following her. Phew, now I can eat something. I'm starved. Applejack was about to eat if only Mr. Cakes hadn't cleaned out the table. Much to her disappointed, Naruto thought to make it up her by treating her to some of his cooking later. Pinkie Pie was performing cartwheels on her way out through the door and ended up crashing into some pony. Rarity was being ever vigilant as she slowly backed towards the door and keeping an eye out for anything that might stain her dress. Stay right where you are. All I want is a clear path to the exit, nobody move and my dress won't get hurt. Stay back. Back, I say. Was she like this whole time before Princess Celestia left? Naruto asked Trixie when she walked up to him. Yes, she was, but Trixie was impressed that she could keep her dress clean without getting a stain, said Trixie, with Naruto shaking his head in amusement. Then they left as well, with Twilight sighing in relief. Well, Spike, I don't know for sure how things went with the princess, but at least no big disasters happened, said Twilight, but it seems she has forgotten that Murphy's Law is always present to mess with anything and everything. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 5. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author Hussbek on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.